Hello, welcome to the Spiritual View. I am Dawn, and I'm with Astrology and Tarot Alchemy, and I am one of the 7 ladies who has the privilege of getting to share some information with you about what's going to be happening. And I wanted to cover some astrology because on January 3rd, and welcome to 2025, by the way, on January 3rd, we are going to be having a Mars-Pluto opposition. And this is going to be the second time that we're having this opposition because Mars is retrograde. And the first time that we had that particular opposition, it was when Pluto was in Capricorn and Mars was in Cancer. And now we have this energy of Mars being retrograde. So it's something that is probably going to be coming up from the past for you. Something that you're going to need to be working on during this time frame. And also Pluto will have then already has moved into Aquarius, so that moving forward energy. Now, when you look at the energy of Pluto and Mars in an opposition, Pluto is always going to be in charge. But Mars can actually have a great effect if you decide to give it a job. I know that sounds kind of odd, but Mars being retrograde is a very unique energy, especially since it's going into Cancer, and will spend many, many, many weeks in Cancer. And that energy of working in that area of your chart is giving you an opportunity to really physically work on something specifically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what the actual chart looks like for just that time. Share screen. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, share. All right. This is that energy of the Mars being, I'm sorry, let me get my stuff here situated. So Mars is in Leo right here. There we go. Mars is in Leo, and it's going to be at 108 degrees, I believe. Okay. And it's in an opposition. Yeah, it's 108 degrees in an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. Now, this is what this looks like on the particular day at my particular time. This information is just so you can see how the planets on that day are talking to each other. We do have Chiron that has stationed direct. That happened just the very, very end of the year. And now we have on this day also this is January 3rd, we have the nodes at 0 degrees. 0 degrees Aries. So what I find really fascinating about this is that you're going to have Mars going into a trine energy with the North Node. And so this to me is really saying that you're going to have the opportunity to get the benefit of something working in your favor in a fated way. So what house is this for you? So if you were a Libra rising, this would be in your 7th house right here. So let's talk about that. If you have those energies going on in your chart, what is Leo for you and what is Aries? So what I want to do is demonstrate that. I'm just going to switch this out a moment. So this is the Mars-Pluto opposition. This is what it looks like. Jupiter is still in retrograde. Jupiter will turn direct when it gets back to 11 degrees. So then you've got that energy moving forward. Just some really beneficial things that are coming up. Okay. So also let's take a look. I'll go back and I'll show you where this will help you in your chart. I'm going to go to my chart. And I actually had put the start date. So what you want to do is pull up your chart and then go to the date of January 3rd, because you want your natal chart to be showing, right? And then I'm going to show the transits. So you want the transits to come up. And this makes much more sense to me because I look at my chart all the time. So Mars here is at that degree of, let me make this a little bigger, right, is at that degree in the chart of 108, right? This is a little further on that particular day. So this is 108. Pluto's at 108. Mars will be at 108. And what I want to say for me, when I look at this in the chart, make it a little smaller. There. So for me, using whole sign houses, this is in my third house. My third house is communication. My third house is siblings. It's my local community. What am I doing in my community? And the interesting thing for me is that I have Pluto in the ninth house. Now, I have been traveling for almost a month. And what I find is that the energy of, it's funny because here's Pluto in my ninth house, long distance foreign travel is one of the things it can represent. But when you look at this energy, this opposition energy, I know that I'm going to be doing some communicating regarding this, and then I'm going to be going with Mars back into Cancer. But in your chart, I want you to take notice of this. You're going to have Mars is here and is going to be going back to 0 degrees because it's going retrograde. So it will make an exact opposition on the 3rd for Pluto. And then within 1 or 2 days, Mars will then make an exact trine with the North Node in my 11th house of communication. So it's kind of funny because I probably will be communicating with you. This can represent our community, our tribe, our fated energy. But it's whatever that 11th house is for you. 11th house is the house of luck. It's the house of connection. It's the house of internet. It's the house of networking. And the house of community, people that you choose to associate with. So we have that fated energy working for us. And the interesting thing too is when Mars goes direct, after having done all this work going back to 1700 of Cancer, which is in my second house. And I had a friend that I stored some things at her home. I was cleaning out our house in order for us to sell it, and things went to her place. And while I was gone, she, bless her, she said, "Okay, I've got to go through some stuff of her father-in-law had passed away, and so they had to make room for their stuff. And can I just drop off while you're gone, the stuff from your house?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be fine." So she left this at my house. So I will. My second house is my stuff, my resources, and me going back over what I had from my house that I lived in for like 25 years, right? So that's part of what I'm going to assign Mars as a job to get things done, going through those things, Vesta, Juno, Ceres. I have I have very strong energy in that house of being a mom, a caregiver, all of those things. So I'm going to have to learn some Mars ruthless tendencies of just cutting it out. Okay, it has to go. It has to go. It has to go. So that is what I'm going to utilize that energy for. But for me, it's also something, depending upon the house the Cancer's in for you, it can be about you working through relationships with family, you doing other things regarding what's going on for you in that area of your chart. So these are my resources. The second house is my resources, my money, my things. And the eighth house would be other people's resources, right? So what I find interesting is when Mars then goes direct and will be coming back direct, and I actually know that date. So I'm going to go back to that date in April. And it's going to be easy for her to remember. It's my brother-in-law's birthday. Ta-da! Okay, good. Again, compare this to your natal chart so you know what houses those are for you. Know the houses, that's important. Okay, so this is really interesting. Now we have Mars that is back in an opposition with Pluto, and that degree is 348. 348. That's the degree. So what does that mean? It means that now you can move forward with everything that you've been working on. Leo is very creative. You have to remember that creativity part of it. I think if you've had some very exciting ideas um, while Mars has been in Leo, and now you've had this whole long opportunity to be working on them while Mars has been in Cancer, and then Mars went direct, utilizing that energy moving forward, you can see that Mars, with this opposition to Pluto, is going to be definitely energizing. They're both direct. So this is a huge opportunity. While Mars is still not quite out of its shadow area, but it is moving direct. So this gives you an opportunity to really work with that energy in a positive way and really blast off. I think this is especially great for Leos with that creativity and making things happen. Mars being there, making things happen. Pluto allowing for that transformational energy. And again, Pluto usually takes something away, makes room for things in your life. Pluto actually wants what's best for you. It's Darth Vader being your fairy godmother. And it's going to really want you to work as best as you can with that energy. And Mars is about cutting things out, relationships, things that no longer work for you, things that don't line up with your vibrational energy anymore, your creativity anymore. And the interesting thing is that Mars will reach its station where it's stationed retrograde at 6 degrees of Leo just a couple days later. And that is going to be, for me, a very interesting time. And this is what one of the other things I want you to take note of in your personal chart. What do you have around those degrees? These are the fixed signs, right? So anything that you have in the fixed signs, I actually have my moon is at 6 degrees. My Saturn is at 9 degrees on top of my South Node. And this is this energy of this 6 degrees where that retrograde happened, that's an important degree. Whenever something stations, that degree becomes a hot point, and now Mars is coming back to that degree again. So if you have anything that's at 6 degrees in the fixed signs, that would be an opposition or a square. It would be a square if it's in Taurus. It would be a square if it's in Scorpio. And how interesting, and I just looked at this over here, I believe the sun on the day that, I believe that the sun is actually in a square to this energy, because the sun is at 6 degrees. So it would have already have been just like the day or so before. It would have been getting involved in that energy, the sun square, both of those things. So I feel that is tremendous energy coming towards the end of April. I think we will have had so much strong astrology going on that I think it's really important for people to take note of what they've been working on and what they can now bring out into the open, bring out into the light, what they can communicate. So that is a very exciting energy. I think also I want to point out that we just had this new moon in Capricorn. And if you started your diet, today is January 1st. If you started your diet and it's already no bueno, what I would say is this. The moon went into a sextile, which is 60 degrees, helpful energy. Find a buddy, find a partner to work with, because the moon within about 24 hours or so will then have that exact sextile energy with Saturn. Saturn is like at 13 degrees. Let me go back to this energy. Go back to January. I'll choose the 4th. with transits. Okay, so as you can see here on January 4th, the moon is moving towards Saturn, right? It already had the sextile, and now it's going to be moving towards Saturn. Now, where's the sun? The sun is going to be in an exact sextile coming up on that date. I don't think I have the exact thing in front of me. I can probably pull that up. But that's the energy that's going to be coming through. You're going to have the ruler of that sign, Capricorn, the ruler of Capricorn, where the new moon had occurred, starting your diet the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, or a new health regimen for yourself, the 3rd, the 4th, small changes will work for you. The sun moves 1 degree a day. So what's that going to mean? It's going to mean that you are going to have an opportunity to really utilize that energy of that new moon and still being able to use those intentions. So also as kind of an aside too, with Mars moving into Cancer is also very much about food. So that's a good opportunity to maybe revamp your diet. And if you have Cancer in the 6th house or Cancer in the 1st house, I think those are very important things that are going to indicate your health. So really think about where things are falling in your chart. Use your natal chart. Use the houses that those are occurring in. Check the degrees. And you'll find that you can really utilize this energy for your greatest and highest good. And we have time. I will be updating with some of the degrees that are going to be highlighted coming up because there's a lot of astrology going on. And we have the big energy of the nodes changing signs on January 11th. So today being 1/1/2025, and then on 1/1/2025, we have the nodes changing north node into Pisces, 29 degrees, and south node into Virgo. Now, Virgo is also about your health as well. So take this time over the next 18 months to think about how you want to increase your health. That's one of the things that you can assign the node. What do you want to release for your greatest and highest good? So think about all those things. I hope that this was beneficial energy for you. I hope that this information was helpful. And I will see you very soon. And I welcome questions. Maybe sometime I'll do a live with one of the other lovely ladies, and we can maybe answer some of these questions that might be coming up for you regarding how you can utilize the energy of the planets. Because I really think we're not a victim of our charts. We are able to command them. So have a lovely day, and I will see you soon.